All right, moving forward with everything, we are going to be talking about assignment 3F, which centers around this 5-value summary, a box and whiskers, and then down here with percentiles. Pretty easy, okay, as long as you know the process. All right, so let's go ahead and start talking about these box and whiskers, how to create these things. All right, so whoever had this paper or whatever did us a huge favor and put these numbers in order. That's really important when it comes to box and whiskers. And so if they are not in order, what you do is with your calculator, you have the ability to put them in order. Again, how you can do that is you can go to your stats. If there's junk in there, you can delete out the junk that we have. And from there, what you can do is you can order numbers in order. So I'm just going to enter a couple rando numbers. Like, let's say I have the number, 6 and 1 and 2 and 9. Okay, so you can see that my numbers are in just a random collection. They're not increasing or decreasing or whatever. So, like, say these numbers that are in problem number 1 were just all over the place. They're just a random mess of numbers. Your calculator can put them in order. So what you would do is you would put them all in. You go to this tool option, and then you go sort ascending, sort A. How many lists do you want to do? I want to do one list. Which list? List 1. And then ta-da, it will put them in order from small to big. And all you got to do is just thumb down through your calculator and write down the numbers. All right, so what we have here is we are going to be constructing a box and whiskers. And so the easiest way to actually physically do this is to write these numbers out in one straight long list from small to big. So I'm just going to kind of go through the motions here, and I'm going to write this out. So it's 2, 5, 7, 8, 8, 11, 12, 14, 20, 23, 23, 25, 26, 27, 28, 9, 31, 36, 36, and 34. 36, 36, and 42. Just double check, count to make sure you didn't miss any. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 numbers. I did have 20 numbers, so I didn't miss any, and they're all in order. Hooray! Okay. Next, we are going to make this thing called a 5-value summary. What a 5-value summary is this. You have a min, you have Q1, Q2, Q3, and a max. And so you have to label this yourself. Okay? So make sure you label min, Q1, Q2, Q3, and max. All right. The min and the max are the easiest numbers. Those are the smallest numbers and the biggest numbers. So minimum, the smallest number is the number 2. Max is the biggest number, and that's 42. Okay, now what is this Q1, Q2, and Q3? The Q's stand for a thing called a quartile. A quartile, which is if I take this list and I divide it into 4 equal-sized chunks, where are those endpoints of those chunks? So quartiles. How you make this and how you do this is you find medians. You find the medians of things. So I'm going to begin by finding the median of this list, and I'm going to do it old school style. So here we go. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9. Okay, here we go. So we see that our median is going to be in between two numbers. So if you recall, what you do when you have two numbers is you add them up and divide by 2. But this one's pretty easy. What's the middle between 23 and 23? It's 23. Just see 23 and 23 is 23. Okay, so the median is 23. Okay, take note that the 23 that is our median isn't specifically a number in the number line. And I'll kind of get back to this in just a moment, but it is not specifically the 23 that is on the left-hand side. It is not the 23 that is on the right-hand side. It's kind of its own 23. So what I'm saying to you is this 23 that is on the low side now belongs to what I call the low side numbers. And so that's these numbers to the left. Okay? This other 23 now belongs to the high side. Okay, the high side. So I have low side numbers and high side numbers. If, for instance, okay, so right now I have an example that is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whereas the median is right here at 3.5. So that means 3 belongs to the low side and 4 belongs to the high side. And now we can go to work with that. Okay, in a situation where it is an odd number, and so what's the median in this case? The median is that middle 3. So what happens in that situation is 3 is just kind of like taken out of the mix. And so my low side is just specifically 1 and 2, and my high side is 4 and 5. Anyway, so I have a low side and a high side now. What you do now is you find the medians of those specific sides individually. So, for instance, the low side would be 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, and it's in between those two numbers right there. So 8 and 11 is 9.5. The high side, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. It's in between those two numbers. So between 28 and 29 is 28.5. All right, so back to my 5-value summary. What I am left with is this. They go in order, small to big. So this 9.5 is quartile 1, 23 is quartile 2, and 28.5 is quartile 3. So I have quartile 1, 2, and 3 with a minimum of 2 and a max of 42. Create a box and whiskers. All right, a box and whiskers looks like this. You construct a number line. Okay, my number line has to encompass all of the numbers that are physically there in the list. So I have to go from at least 2 to at least 42. So I'm going to start at 0 and I'm going to go up by 5s. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. What you do is purely above the number line. Don't draw on the number line. Don't draw on the number line. Don't draw on the number line. Draw it above the number line, your box and whiskers. What happens is you put a dot for your min and max. So I go up a ways, and where 2 would be, I put a dot, and they label the dot. I go up to where 42 would be, and again, same height, I make a dot, and that is 42. I make vertical lines for all of my quartiles. So I have a line at 9.5. So I go to where 9.5 is, and I draw a vertical line, and I label that line 9.5. I go to 23, draw a line at 23, label that 23, and then 28.5. 28.5 is right there. So there are my vertical lines. Now what I do is I connect the tops of the lines with the tops of the lines, the bottoms of the lines with the bottoms of the lines, and the dots to the middle of the sides. That is a box and whiskers. Next is, what is the interquartile range? What a range is, we talked about the range when we talked about the magic number in the last chapter. Again, what a range is the big minus the small idea, and that will get you a range. So this is the idea of a range, but it's going to be interquartile, aka inside the quartiles. So the inside the quartile range, interquartile range. And so the biggest quartile is always going to be quartile 3. Okay? The smallest quartile is always going to be quartile 1. So interquartile range is going to be quartile 3 minus quartile 1. So in this situation, that's 28.5 minus 9.5. So my interquartile range is 19. Angela took a general aptitude test and scored in the 82nd percentile of aptitude for the company. All right, so think of this as kind of like being a thermometer or something like that. And a percentile is like, in essence, how good you are. And so Angela is at this 82 level. Okay, this is where Angela is. Okay, so if this is 0 and this is 100, all right, what percentage is below Angela? 82% is below Angela. What percentage is above Angela? That would be 18% would be above Angela. That's the idea of a percentile. So that is what it is. Okay, so what percentage of the population scored above Angela's score? 18%. What percent of the population scored below Angela? That's 82%. There you go. That's what it is. Okay, here is an example where the numbers are not in order. And I'm asked to construct one of these things. So what I'm going to do is I am going to list these up in my calculator, and I am going to make this box and whiskers. I have this at 24 numbers, and this is 2 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 24 numbers, 24 numbers. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the tool, and I'm going to sort ascend. How many lists? One list. Which list? List 1. Whoa, I must have made a big time mistake. I entered something as 522. I'm assuming that was the number 52. Yeah, I don't have a 52 in here. I accidentally entered it at 522. So I'm going to enter 52 in its place, and I'm going to sort ascend again. So I'm assuming, I know it's a lot to assume, but I'm assuming that I have my list correct now. All right. So what I'm going to do is I am going to write these numbers down so I can kind of easily do my calculations. So I have 50, 51, 2, 53, 5, 60, 61, 2, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 7, 8, 9, 71, 72, getting close now, 73, 4, 4, 5, uh-oh, 80, I think that's it. Yeah, 80. Okay. So what I need to do is I need to find my median. So there's a 24, it should be in between the 12th and 13th number. So let's kind of cut out a lot of the stuff. So let's jump up to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 11. And so I see that the median will cut the 65 and the 66. So cover 65 and 66, 65, 5. Notice how this is splitting numbers, so the 65 belongs to the low, and that 66 now belongs to the high. I find the medians of those two specific sides, the low and the high. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 is going to split those two numbers right there. 60 and 61, that'll be at 60.5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to split these two numbers right here. 71 and 72, so that's going to be 71.5. So what is the 5-value summary? So that's going to encompass the minimum, quartile 1, quartile 2, quartile 3, and the max. So the minimum is the smallest number, and that's 50. The maximum is the largest number, and that's 80. The quartiles are at 60.5, 65.5, and 71.5. Construct a box and whiskers. So my number line, lower, has to begin with at least 50 and go to 80. And again, I'll go by fives in this case. So I'll go with something like, this is 45, 45, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85. All right, so this is 50. All right, I construct dots at the minimum and the maximum. So 50 gets a dot, 80 gets a dot. I put lines at the quartiles of 60.5, 60.5. Again, label everything. 65.5. And then 71.5. Connects the tops with the tops, the bottoms with the bottoms, so that's the box. And there are your whiskers. That's your box and whiskers. Next is the interquartile range. The interquartile range is the biggest quartile subtract the smallest quartile, which is always 3 and 1. And so that is going to be 71.5 minus 60.5. And that is 11. Doug took a general aptitude test. He scored in the 73rd percentile. So if this is a scale from 0 to 100, he scored it in the 73rd percentile. Okay, that means 73 below and 27 above. So what scored below? 73% scored below. What scored above? 27% scored above. There it is.